Hello, everyone. Joe Cicero here, and I want to take a turn from where we usually talk, which is the tech side of Intune for education, the tech side of what schools need in order to be able to access their devices, to control policies, applications. I want to turn away from that and focus today on how we tell that story to our customers. Right? How do we engage them in a way that's not like reading stereo instructions? Some people use a whiteboard for this where they start drawing out the solution in order to help people visualize, and that's really helpful. Myself, I like to use fun characters. Um, I think that sometimes IT, especially when we're working in education, can be quickly overwhelming. And on top of everything else you have to do as a school IT professional, if there's any way to bring some light to it in order to, build engagement, I think that there's immense value there. And I think our partners, you folks listening, can really take some of this and bring it to the customers and present it in a way that is more appetizing. So I'm calling this quick little talk the art of showing and telling. And one of the ways that I do this is through caricature development, right? Not character development, but caricature development. And the the people you see on your screen, those are Bitmojis, right? That's a free application that you can go and download. And they're fun and they're exciting. And if you look at any of our technical presentations, they're not usually fun and exciting. So this is right away is a divergence of that and definitely focused specifically on education. But I think there's some application to other industries as well. I think what is good for EDU is likely good for others. So I take a caricature approach, and the caricature approach is really just this a little bit of ridiculousness, right? Rather than talking about a specific scenario that might be very real but very narrow, we can really broaden it out and expand it to be super inclusive and a little overly dramatic, to the point of maybe there's some humor. Right, so if you look on the slide I'm sharing on the right hand side, we have our character Sam, who's this IT director who's overworked and sad and super stressed by her work. Is Sam a real person? Maybe there's a Sam out there, but I think every IT director can somehow empathize with Sam and say, you know what, maybe that's not me today, but it has been me at certain points. And then myself, Joe, I'm the middle caricature. I'm the over enthusiastic, person who comes in and thinks that my solution is going to solve the world's problems, right? Like, shame on you for not already adopting this. Our sales folks sometimes like that? Yeah, occasionally, all the time. No, right? That's why it's dramatic. And then we have Jill, our example student, who gets super frustrated very easily. She is first to slam the screen on her laptop and walk away when the technology doesn't work, right? So we develop these caricatures so that people can find where they fit into these caricatures, right? Not 100%, maybe not 50%, but just enough to say, you know what? I get why Sam is angry. I have trouble with Windows Update and it makes me furious, right? We can buy in there. So a caricature by definition is an exaggeration, right? And so much has been done on this purposeful storytelling, or why it matters, or how it can be more successful in conveying a message. So I will have links in the bottom of this video. So what does this then turn into then? If we develop our characters, right? Our caricatures are extreme examples of people. How does that actually play out in our story that we tell the customer, right? We obviously don't say, here's the problem, here's the solution, please commit to the solution, when can we sign you up to start adopting it, right? That's pretty in your face. Instead, we want to paint a picture, right? We want to set the scene, we want to set the stage. In this storyboard, we start with education's unicorn, right? Education is a magical industry that has its unique issues that are not seen anywhere else, right? Again, if I'm an education customer, I'm leaning in here because there's some empathy to my industry. We introduce Sam and we talk about, Sam struggles with update policies, device management, rolling out devices, right? Any IT director in the world is going to say, yeah, I have similar struggles, or I've been there, right? And then we talk about how Sam, this caricature, is introduced to a solution, right? So she meets Intune for Education at a conference, and she learns about on and off buttons. Very simple, not talking about the tech behind it, but really talking about the outcome of simplified buttons to control an experience. And she learns that she already owns it as part of her Microsoft 365 agreement, right? Anyone listening to this can say, wow, there's a lot of Microsoft stuff that I don't know about, and the fact that I might already own it is pretty interesting. Tell me more. And then we walk through Sam's piloting phase where she starts to enroll devices to see, hey, does it work, right? She's a skeptic, just like our customers should be. They should be skeptical at first as they pilot and proof something out. And then we get to slide 5 in our story, which is, oh my goodness, it works, and staff and students are happy, right? And that's the outcome that Sam's looking for, right? Intune for Education, device management, that is all extremely important. But the end user doesn't necessarily know about that. They know about, can I access Teams? Can I access OneNote? Does logging into my computer, is that fast? Do I have to worry about updates during the middle of class? And then we take it to the next logical step, which is beyond that POC, which is, does it scale? Like, does it work for my 5,000, 5 million device ecosystem? And if so, how? Which is slide 7, where we have Sam earning her lightsaber, becoming a Jedi, and going down the route of autopilot, where she has grown not only from her understanding that she owns a solution, she's tested it, and now she's going to the next level where she's using autopilot to deploy all of these devices. And that brings us to the end of the finale, where Sam's current mood is super pumped, excited. If we look at where on the storyboard slide 2, she's sad over a coffee. At the end, she's happy flying around, right? That's the story, right? That's the story that we want folks to get excited about. That's the story that we want for our customers. That's the story we want schools to experience. We don't want folks to be sad, Sam. We want them to be happy, Sam. And how do we get them there? We take them through this journey. So there are there's tons of resources out there on why storytelling is important. It's important not just if you're selling something, if you're explaining something, or whatever you're doing. The art of storytelling is certainly crucial when we're trying to bring people into the conversation, right? We're not clicking through a slideshow and saying, here, memorize this, it all looks good, now sign up for it, right? We want them to come along. So there's 2 people that I'm going to call out that I think are inspirational and have done a lot of great work when it comes to this idea of storytelling. The first one is Liza Donnelly. I put a link to a TED Talk that she did on drawing on humor as part of storytelling, which definitely can offer some inspiration or support to what we've just talked about. Also, Jennifer Lang, her book, Please Don't Picture Them Naked. She is a presentation coach for a lot of the executives in tech and beyond. So, that C-suite level, when they're giving that speech, that motivational speech, that keynote, that core note, they're working with her in order to deliver that, right? Figuring out how to bring your audience in. And it's super important even in today's world where our audience isn't in front of me, they're separated by a screen. How do we create that atmosphere where people can still lean in, and how can you draw them in as a speaker, as a presenter, as a seller, as a system integrator? Because when we bring people along, we're definitely going to get to better outcomes than if we just present to them and hope that they sign on a dotted line. At the end of the day, we're providing a solution, right? Intune for Education is a product, but the solution is a device management experience that leads to happy teachers, happy students, happy IT directors, right? That's the real solution that we're getting to. Intune for Education is the product there, right? The same can be said about many of our products, that they're trying or working towards these goals, these noble goals of better student learning better student learning outcomes, saving teachers time, easier to manage learning experiences, right? That's the end, but it's the journey that matters. And when we tell an empathetic story with some extremes for humor, we can definitely bring people along and get them to understand the story and then also want to replicate that story within their own work, within their own daily work. So, my name's Joe. If you do like and subscribe, that's great. If you don't, please share it if it's useful. If it's not useful, also give me a comment. It's a little bit different than our tech talks that we usually do, but I thought it was still important just because of a lot of calls I've been sitting on recently where I think partners who story tell land the message a lot better. So thank you so much. Have a fantastic day.